And good. Well, some time of day, people. Oh, welcome to the second. Second? No, it's something like a number of weeks in. But welcome to the Eblan Elixir League. We have Zorday versus E-Ninja and Blaze versus IKEA. My name's Poydrek. I'm your confused host today. Confused commentator. Told you confused. And I'm here with Yoshiki on hello.
Hi. Yeah. Good afternoon, evening, morning, whatever it is. All of the above.
Yeah. Interesting in races we've got going on. We've got Zorday from the last minute decisions versus E-Ninja is back at the clock somewhere. Blaze from We Wear Shorts in Winter, and IKEA from Coal Shop Quartet. I have no idea of their particular standings in the races so far. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. We've got an Asker Seed who is doing our restreaming in, and we've got NG Dave and Darth Flagel on tracking. That's as much as I know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess very notably in this one, backers clock and last minute decisions. So the top match here is Ali and E-Ninja. They kind of hit the Swiss round around early. They have exactly the same record, match record, everything so far. So, week 8, the Swiss pairings come up against someone with a similar record, but they got started a week early on that one.
Yeah, so we're expecting some fireworks. We're expecting some good racing, and as normal, we have our typical all 4 objectives, which is complete Cave Magnus, Forge, or defeat the Football Gauntlet, defeating Golbez, and our 3 extras today of complete the Tower of Zot, the Vanilla Ribbon Room, so the lunar spot on the moon, and liberating that ever so faithfully wanted Baron Castle. Baron Castle just seems to want something today, or every day.
And they are off with the Palom hero over here, so I tell her as well, like, this. How do you feel about mage heavy starts in this flag set?
Palom as a hero, I think is actually easy, a little bit of the easy mode, because Palom isn't exactly the fastest. He's actually one of the slowest when levels come in later, but he can get some really good power up early on with that early Virus and Quake. Teller, jack of all trades, brilliant. You always like to see someone like him on your team. Yeah, he's a bit slower in terms of speed, but we've still got plenty of other options. He will facilitate a lot.
And of course, one of the biggest things for Teller here, starting with exit. So we see E-Ninja making the dive into Watery Pass, pulling out a curse string there, I think.
Yeah, I already said how Palom is a fairly slow character anyway for agility purposes. That just sort of cements his place as the slowest character on your team. And since he is the basis of all the agility, everything else is going to go faster around him. So great pull. Won't be seeing him wear that until probably halfway through this seed. Aiden and our team actually gets fleshed out a little bit, but definitely a very good find to get early, so you're not searching later.
So otherwise, some very kind of varied openings here. We're seeing a little bit of watery pass, a couple of mist cave checks, just a water hag in there, so not one of those boss hunts. I don't know what your experience with this set has been. I've been haunted by boss hunts.
I'm always haunted by boss hunts. I last location a boss every single time.
You go to the moon and they're not there, and like, there's so many bosses. It's got to be on the moon, and then no, it never is. Until the one time you skip it.
Yeah, and your opponent goes there, and it's like, why didn't I do it this time?
The good old rando experience.
So, things coming out of this. Blaze is the only person that hasn't gone through the watery pass, hasn't picked up the cursed ring, and everyone else has. While Edge is in that bed in Kaipo. So Sand Ruby an early Sand Ruby would definitely be appreciated by the runners that have seen that Edge.
Also seeing a couple of, we see Akia going for the Damsian looting there at least, and I know that's one that a few people are kind of mixed on. Obviously, the looting in this set is not great.
The looting everywhere isn't really great, so one place is mostly as good as another.
And I think in particular, you'll see a lot of kind of early item shops and a little bit of early looting, just kind of looking for those damage items to get you through those first couple of fights. But beyond that, I don't expect we'll see that much.
Yeah, especially with that Palom Star, you're really going to be looking for maybe a little bit of defensive gear, and then really focus on getting levels, so you can start blowing up the overworld, getting through all the bosses as quickly as possible, or finding that magma key, and then worrying about where the rest of the seed is going to take you.
So we do get our first look at the Hobbs character over here, and
oh, isn't that a surprise?
I don't think that's who they wanted to see there. I got to be honest, I don't think that's who any of them will want.
Probably not, but Edward in this particular flag set has been a sort of dark horse, you could say. He does bring quite a bit of utility in places, but yeah, you could easily do a lot better. But then again, have we found a lot? Not really. We found claws for Yang, more claws for Yang, and arrows. Mylon Z up the top though is not really that much of a threat with those arrows, with the fire ones, and with cure 2s that you get in the starter kit. Mylon Z happily takes those and says, "Okay, be on your way." E-Ninja with the Yogo Pogo in Antlion, however, is a very different matter.
Yeah, that is a very difficult one for this party to deal with, and sure enough, that wave is going to do the job there. In particular, you're so reliant on, we mentioned it's a mage team, you rely on damage items early, and Ogo's not a fan of those.
No, he counters elemental spells of item and mage variety with mostly Blaze, which is a nice attack, which does 25% of your health in damage. Or if it's a lightning spell, he, as E-Ninja is finding out, counters with weak, which puts you into single digits, which makes the wave an instant win on Ogopogo's side. Which everyone is going to be looking into very soon. And with Edward, it might make it a little bit easier to get through, because if you've got a half decent bow and some arrows, he can deal with this for you.
Mm-hmm. And it's not the worst thing to leave, like to walk away from and come back later, especially having the teller to just, if you've gone to the save point on the way in, just exit out again, come back in later. But it definitely doesn't feel good to have to walk away from Antlion Cave.
No, it doesn't, but Ogopogo has been the thorn in many runners' side for very good reason. And this spot isn't going to go anywhere, and once you have a few extra levels, this is easy. Just right at this particular moment, it's harder than it probably should be.
Four dueling Ogopogos on there. Very different setups across every one of this stage.
Yeah, and every single one of them is having to deal with little piddling amounts of damage, less than 100. Ikea is racing through this. It's because his Edward seems to do a lot of work, while everyone else is still just trying to stay above board.
And unfortunately, not much of a reward for the ones who went through Watery Pass earlier. Just another curse ring there, so a little bit of money maybe.
Yeah, it is a little bit of money. That sort of helps Blaze out because he didn't find that curse ring, so he will keep that and very much enjoy it. And Ininja, that's his second wipe to Ogo, and is leaving, which, considering he didn't have the levels that everyone else did and doesn't have the Edward, yeah, he's going to need to come back to this. Whether he does or not, if he doesn't, it sort of plays out a little bit, but we expect him to go back.
And no surprise to see him go straight over to Hobbs here, try and get a little bit of extra firepower for the fight, if nothing else.
Yep. And sees Edward and goes, well, it's more by
a very little bit of extra firepower.
Yeah, it is a percentage increase. I won't say which particular percentage. Okay, if you want a little bit of experience on someone, this football is very, very free. And and football fight is actually one of the better boss spots for experience because of the amalgamation of all of the monsters you get in the football gauntlet originally.
Yeah, for sure. With a slightly different stat, it's the kind of thing you can see people put off for a while, but I think with no sign of underground access, there's no reason to delay that at this point.
Yeah. You would need to have literally the magma key in the first 2 checks, which is your starting item or antlion for this, for you to really miss it. And if you don't come here. Well, there's the magma key. So Blaze is just letting the fight play out. Ikea killed the king, so the queen just said, "Oh well, I'll go and find another king somewhere." And Zalday is just letting the same thing happen. So where do people go next? Ikea has chosen to Troya, but the underground is waiting, and we do know that the shops down there, as well as the treasures, are quite a bit better than what is on the overworld, even though the treasure chests aren't that much better.
Yeah, I think like if you're going underground at this point, you're not really able to do many of the checks. You're not going to try and take any of the fights underground with these levels. But if you find a couple, find sirens in a shop down there, throw a couple, then maybe you can start looking at those and have a faster time of what's left in the overworld. And also, still grabbing that Feymarch freebie no matter what.
Yeah, getting in a couple sirens and letting that Palom hit Quake, or at least Virus, definitely seems like a good way to speed up the rest of the checks you've got on the overworld. Yeah, it's taking a little bit of time out to go shopping, but honestly, I think it's worth it.
Yeah, like the eggs won't be fast fights either, but you have a teller, you have stop. There's stuff you can do to make them manageable, and it'll just. I think that cost is worth the payout usually.
Yeah, and as you said, there is that particular key item check in the Land of Summer Monsters. If that's a character check, you have pretty much any character outside of Fu is a worthy pickup at this point to get some experience on. Right now, I'm even seeing Yang as a potential good candidate with all the claws we found and some decent strength gear.
Yeah. I think honestly there aren't many characters you'd be disappointed to see at this point, other than I guess potentially a duplicate. Interestingly there as well, Blaze, I said about, I don't expect anyone to go into Dwarf Castle and take the fight. Blaze did look at what the first fight was and then reset out of D-Mist there.
That's great knowledge. It doesn't take a lot of time if you're just going to go there, see the sprite, and then reset out. And knowing what the fight is there is a big deal, because that spot is not an easy spot to deal with. It's faster than you think, it hits harder than you think, and you still got to get through 8,000 or so hit points to actually win that fight.
And they will have access to warp fairly readily with the teller if they can get through ordeals, get your warp access for Dwarf Castle. And Blaze now knows that that's a pretty high priority, because you get warp, it's not just those two items. There's now a third one there with the Mist Dragon, so just absolutely huge priority on that one.
Yeah, Ikea taking on Baronin hasn't gone down into the Land of Summer Monsters for the item that I saw, but we are going to see that from Zalday and Blaze. More focus on getting this Porum from Baronin, it seems. That's a tough fight.
That can be scary. I don't think they've... They didn't start with any good items for. Oh, there are some hourglasses there.
Oh, there is no hourglass, so if that can go off, that does free up this fight. But you still got to get through.
Yeah.
You've got to get through at least one round of punches, and yeah, that didn't go altogether well.
I was going to say, I do definitely like the idea of kind of taking those overworld checks first as well, because, you know, we spoke about going underground and doing the shopping, and if you can get sirens and things like that, but if you don't, you're not able to do anything in the underground, whereas if you take those early fights, then maybe you can have a bit more of an efficient kind of sweep around once you do go underground.
Yeah. And I do know where that hourglass came from. It was the free item in Feymarch, so there you go. That's... Unless it was bought somewhere, which is entirely possible, but there is a free one in the Rat Tail chest. And Blaze did also check the wonderful sparkle at the King of the Summon Monsters, which was, if I remember, if I saw the sprite correctly, Wyvern.
Yeah, I don't think we saw the opening attack though. I almost... You're resetting out anyway. I'd have liked to see it checked for a retreat.
Retreat explosion wouldn't really do too much to you. Well, it would do a lot to you because, you wouldn't be able to survive through that because everyone is on the same row. It will only affect one row because of the nature of its attack. But yeah, if it's a quick retreat, you get a quick victory, get some quick experience. You don't have to do a siren. There's a lot of good things that could come of it, plus you know what you have to deal with when you do go against it properly. Very true. The retreat does take the experience with it. It does need to be something that kills the enemy. So explosion, I think reaction does as well. Yeah. But things like that.
And just the knowledge of that move, I think, is just... Yeah.
Yeah. So there's an egg. There's a coffin.
I think Blaze took exactly one egg. I didn't see where the siren came from. I think, was that a starting inventory one? Or I think there was only one in... as far as I saw. But...
Might have been found somewhere around that we didn't see, but that wouldn't be surprising seeing as we're looking at 4 runners' screens here. It's very hard to keep track of absolutely everything. But if there is that one, it's definitely worth just giving it the summoning of an egg, getting that Palom at least up to Quake, which seems to be the case on Zalday's part, most likely Blazers as well, and yeah, finish up the rest of this world. Thank you, Corgs. First floor Feymarch chest. So not for sale, but doesn't mean we're not going to find them in the shop later. We still do have the Cave Eblan shop and the shop on the moon.
And that siren already paying dividends on Zale and Blaze's side with just Palom absolutely tearing through this fight right now. Quake and Virus available.
This next fight is still going to be a little scary, but with Quake available, this is going to be much, much easier to deal with.
Mhm. Oh, that is the worst thing for Blaze there. 3 hits on the Palom from those Dark Imps and just... They saw the threat and they focused.
As I said, still scary. Zolde isn't exactly having as easy a time either, so I think E-Ninja might have the easiest time through this because found out about the Dark Imps earlier, but Blaze is through with a Quake. Zolde resetting out, and oh wow.
Oh.
That's an item.
So I guess the first question on that Darkness Crystal, because that is huge. The first question is, how soon are you checking the character and the shop up there? Are you going immediately? Are you putting it off a little bit?
At this point, I think it needs to be checked immediately. If for nothing else, to get at that character, to check that character and that shop. Because if that shop has sirens, that opens up a whole lot of possibilities for how you get levels. Yes, we have a teller. Yes, the machine grind is potentially on the table. But runners in this particular tournament so far have been trying to shy away from it. And if you have sirens available, you shy away from it as much as possible. You've got other options. You don't need to go the full hog on a D machine grind if it's going to take a bit of time.
Mm-hmm.
If this is a third mage on the moon with no sirens, D machine is looking very, very tasty.
Yeah, for sure. I don't remember if we saw any decent MP healing options yet, where those ethers have been found, but
we have Palom and Porum on the team.
yeah.
There's your MP, 8 for Teller. He has a psych spell. Yeah, it's a long cast, but you can do it in between someone in the D machine itself.
Just hourglasses up on the moon. Just hourglasses, as though that's a bad option. They're nice to have.
Considering we've got what is the gauntlet at the Queen spot in the Land of Summer Monsters, having a few extra having a few extra hourglasses is not bad.
Mm-hmm.
It should also be mentioned that Sheila won on the first check of the pan chain does give the adamant, so we are half the way on the way to Forge as well.
So a Kane on the moon, it looks like. Not
Yeah.
Not the most exciting of characters at this point.
Kane is Kane is the one that people really just feel is the most bland. He has a lot of power and he can do a lot of work, but to get him that far, you need equipment, you need levels, you need pretty much everything. And right now, he doesn't have either. I don't think we found any weapons for him. We found a few bits of armor, which is okay, but yeah, definitely not the one you want to see. Now this is a common sight, right, on Blaze's side. Right. One of the people that the runners have been swearing by is this hairdryer's chest, the chest in the pathway on the moon, to whatever their names actually are, the hairdryers, because they're fairly easy. You can hourglass them. If you can get through the fight quickly, you've got a chance of a good item, and they're actually worth a fairly good amount of experience.
Yeah, and just has all the life potions stacked up, Pound taking them out one at a time, so basically getting double the experience for each of these thanks to those life potions. And just this is going to help jump that Kane up to the point of, if a decent weapon shows up, then he'll be pretty good. But that's the big question there, is if Kane can get that gear.
Yeah. By the way, did Young pass you on his way around the world? He just went past me. It was pretty quick, but he did wave to say hi. Oh, there he goes again. So Blazer's just got a whole load of experience on the cane and a Purim. I didn't see what the item was, but honestly, I don't think he cares about it. The experience is much more important.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, he cares about that one.
Oh, yeah. Okay, adamant armor, definitely one you want, yeah. And that's a huge spike as well, because a lot of people will take that hairdryer's chest for the experience early on, and, you know, it's a fairly good way to kind of get the character from the moon going. But if you're not taking that, like, that adamant is going to give a massive boost. That's a huge leap.
Yeah. We do have the dwarf axe for Kane. We can't forget that. We do have a way of back row in him, but that's not exactly a great weapon. Blaze, knowing that D-Mist is here and likely has Warp now on Palom and that Adamant armor on Palom, this D-Mist is ripe for the taking.
Mm-hmm. And AKR, sure enough, it does look like is going to take the hairdryers as well. So we will have dueling adamants
in the race that is against each other on the bottom half of our screen. So we have one particular race with adamant armor, one particular race without it at the moment. But the top two runners have done ordeals, while the bottom two runners haven't. So it's very much two separate races as they're meant to be. So out come the Quakes, there goes the D-Mist. Teller's on the ground, but I don't think Blaze cares.
Yeah, I can only imagine at this point you're hoping that whoever turns up here is good, but pretty much whoever it is, I don't think that Teller's very long for this team.
I think Teller's going to stick around a little bit longer.
Oh.
Okay. I wasn't expecting that particular swap out. especially with 3 key items on the table here. The one from Dwarf, the one from the Warp Glitch, and the Demist. Chances of spiking that spoon are actually not too bad.
Yeah, I don't know how much the extra kid really offers in this situation, but at the same time, unless you get that spoon, Edward is doing nothing. So
yeah, that is true. So we'll see what comes out of this. Edward is still available. Or when the character is dismissed under these flag settings, they are sent to the Tower of Wishes in Mysidia, so they can be picked up again. So he's not gone for good yet, but it's a good chance of that he's going to be having a nap in there. Legend Sword. Ooh.
that's the first objective, ready and waiting.
Oh! Do you want the Legend Sword? Well, you've got 2 ways to get it. You can just warp glitch to it, or you can take the Luca key from around Luca's necklace. So yeah, not really surprised that Blaze is going straight to get this objective done. And the shop here is fairly good. Might have Stardust rods, maybe a power shirt, maybe a spear for Kane. Well, one of them is there.
Meanwhile, Zali took a peek at the Bahamut Cave boss up there, and it was a Rubicon sprite, so that one potentially not too threatening at the point of going to the moon, but
it's a tricky fight in some places. If that's the elements, it's actually a lot harder than the Rubicante. But the Rubicante one has its own sort of niche things that you need to get. The fire counters aren't actually that bad, but the blaze attacks and the punches are still going to one-shot your characters. That's a potential place to go next.
that seems like a pretty good one. A couple of key item locations, a couple more bosses.
Yeah, still being able to stay away from Mount Ordeals to... I think the best thing to say about staying away from Mount Ordeals here is that it doesn't put extra thinking on you. So you don't even have to think about, oh, I've got a fully powered teller, I can go and do this Demon Machine grind. Blaze is just saying, can't do it, I'll go and do other things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just kind of Ordeals feels very strong in this flag set. Obviously you've got those boss hunts, but Blaze has already taken down Demist and already seen the gauntlet, so there's only that other one waiting around. Not going to be too worried about the bosses up here. It's only 1 item check. And
Has an adamant armor.
Yeah, just there are more than enough other things you can do, and if you get to the point where, okay, you need to start considering going to the moon or fighting those Fey March bosses, at that point, maybe you go over to Ordeals just to see if you haven't got a better way to get experience by then. Okay, well now we'll do it, and now we'll consider that D-Machine grind, but until you need it, there's no reason to worry about it.
Yeah. And outside of that, is Teller really doing much for you? The answer is most likely not. Oh, there's that breeze again. Mega Sister's up the top of the tower. Interesting fight. It's not exactly difficult, but
it's a pretty healthy spot for them to be in, so it can cause issues. Probably a few less problems with a adamant Quake Palom, but
even Kane is starting to get up in hit points. Yeah, he doesn't have the whole lot of actual attacking power at the moment, but yeah, no, this is the Palom show at the moment, or the Patat show at the moment. But then again, you expect the potato to be the best. So Zolde is through the fight with the Octomammoth. I believe E-Ninja has just got through that particular fight as well. So they're going to get their Legend Sword and Luca Key. Oh no, E-Ninja is on the moon. That's a completely different place to Wolf Castle.
Did just get that cane and start equipping him though, and is not heading towards the hairdryers there, so
Bahamut in the cannon room, yeah, it's only got about 600 to 700 experience. You don't care about that. You take a quick quick spell to its face and then let it blow up. So I don't believe we got anything at the top of the tower. It doesn't look like it was added to the...
it was a Zeus gauntlet, so nice to have, but not really offering too much at this point.
It's a nice cane item, if you can find an actual weapon for him. So how is this chain going to turn out?
And what do you do if this is nothing? You're running kind of low on options at this point in Blazer Shoes.
Not really. You still got a lot to go through. You still got ordeals. We know, unfortunately, that's a dud check. With the adamant armor going up against the gauntlet here in the Fame Arch is not actually that bad. You just have to sort of be aware of the arachnes that come out in one of the fights. Everything else, the adamant armor will protect you, and you can quake it all down. The Wyvern here is quite a bit more tricky, but we still got outs. Plus, there is always the moon.
Yeah. I guess the question here is, like, how comfortable do you feel doing these things? And the adamant helps. The adamant definitely helps with the comfort. We do see a battle speed change on Blazer's side there as well. So that also is just that extra little push towards being a little more comfortable on these fights.
E-Ninja is doing a classic T-Wildish play, which is in Eblan Castle at the moment, fighting Mad Ogres.
maybe we'll finally see that cane weapon show up. Obviously hoping for slightly better than that, hoping for an adamant armor, or even to make a potential future Cecil a little more broken.
I have a question. How is a rock moth not flying?
This is like my favorite game to play with FF4. Like, the rock moth doesn't fly, but Melon Z does. Yeah, I had a hook route that I went through recently where it's like you fight the Mad Ogres on the way up, then you get the Baron Guards, and then you get Golbez, and it's like one of these three is not a mage. Which one?
Yeah, this adamant armor wielding cavern opening in Hallam is just literally just opening the earth. Hopefully these caverns don't get filled up by the lava that's in the area. That might be a problem.
So E-Ninja went through Eblan on the right side, only found that one Mad Ogre chest, and has gone back in to kind of see what else he can find, see what else he can dig out from this.
Zolde is following the key items, which is, for the most part, the expected play, but we know it's not really playing out today. Yeah, you get the rat tail, but we still don't have a hook to make that worthwhile.
And when that hook does show up, it'll open up a ton of potential there. The key item check, plus the second adamant, just to make sure that you have no issues with anything. So fully expect it to be at the point where, well, you wouldn't have issues with anything anyway.
Ike is just about to pick up their forge item, which is the silver rod, which is actually, I prefer that over the Triton dagger, personally, but both give a wisdom stat of 15 in that Palom can utilize very, very effectively.
Yeah, the solo Palom run that we're having at the moment definitely going to help with that one then. Gauntlet giving another adamant.
So that goes on Kane, and I'm not too sure where the third is going to come into play, but in terms of adamant armors, the first is the most game-changing. Anything you get after that, the effect really does diminish. Yeah, you can have 4 and be all-powerful, with your hero having not very, very low speed comparison. But you only need 1, 2 at the most for efficiency's sake. That's an item. E-Ninja has spiked a cane weapon.
Finally, the cane gets to do something.
And in my opinion, one of his best weapons, the Dragoon Lance. There's a lot of dragons in this. If we do find sirens, and there's both the egg dragons that we can summon from that, as well as the gold dragons on the moon, that's effective against. Yeah, and Wyvern. Yeah,
right,
can't forget this Wyvern that's in the king spot.
I was going to say, we've seen a lot of the dragons show up already, but E-Ninja hasn't gone and fought, you know, that gauntlet has a couple of dragons in it as well. And it's just like, we've, over all 4 of the runners, we have seen quite a few of the dragons turn up, but E-Ninja specifically still has quite a few of those left, so definitely going to get a lot of value out of that Dragoon Spear, and more than going to pay off the time it took to get it.
This Wyvern is not going to be a quick fight. We don't have a great amount of damage. Kane's got got a Dwarf Axe with that adamant armor. Palam's doing about 3,500. This is still going to take like 9 to 10 rounds to actually win, which is going to give with an ample opportunity to reflect some nukes onto your team. If it misses like that, though, you're fine.
Yeah, I can only assume that's Adamant's doing work out here.
So E-Ninja is taking on the D-Mist, which everyone else has faced so far, but has that weapon for Kane, so can probably do... is likely going to speed up a little bit because of that, having extra damage output. Zolde is just about to finish up with the tower and be very much disappointed. And Ike has just started going up. Yeah, that is near the top. So plenty of different little action points going on.
Yeah, and I guess the biggest question now then is like, just kind of looking at what each runner has done. You know, people have done more checks, fewer checks, etc. But everyone kind of has different resources available at this point, and the question is kind of less who does what and how like far ahead are people on checks or whatever, but more how much do those extra resources pay out later on. You know, the obvious example there is like E-Ninja picking up that Dragoon Spear is going to make a difference. So he's a little further behind on the checks right now, but those checks are going to catch up far more quickly than everyone else not having that Dragoon Spear.
Having Berserk available as well, and Kane with a very good weapon, he's going to get some attacks off fairly quickly. So that's great. Wyvern is down on Blaze's side. We'll see what progression this has, because there's not, as you said, there's not really that much left. That is definitely not a progression item though. So Moon.
Yeah, it's not often you're disappointed to see a crystal sword, but and a first crystal sword at that, but yeah, definitely not really what they were hoping for, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I believe at this point Moon is the way for progression. And yes, there's ordeals on Blaze's side, but he seems to, pardon the pun of what he's found, and he's pretty adamant about not going to ordeals. So yeah, up to the Moon. Shouldn't have too much of an issue here with the 2 adamant armors on the characters. Most of the fights up here should be pretty academic.
Which order do you go for the Moon? I know there's a bit of a divergence on this one.
It all really depends on what you found so far. And at this point where you're needing key items, I go down to the bottom and work my way up. there's more key item locations down there. We're still looking for the magma, a twin harp. We're still looking for the earth crystal. We're still looking for the Baron key. Plus, the ribbon rune down there is an objective. So, bottom of the moon, working your way up, screams to me as the best option.
Yeah, normally I would like the only thing that would kind of push me away from starting on the ribbon room would be, well, the levels still aren't great, but double adamants generally take care of that problem. And also you've got the white spear altar just sat there as the easiest moon boss usually to counteract that if needed.
One of the other reasons why you wouldn't want to go down the bottom of the moon is if you had something like, say, 9 key items and you were looking for one more. That's not the case in this point. We've only got 8. If you were one away, yeah, checking that Murasame to see if you can get a 10th. That's great. But being 2 away, that's a little more daunting, especially when you've got an objective right here.
Mm-hmm.
You're not fighting that, though.
I was like, I'm trying to think of what fights are actually bad at this point now, and that might be about the only one.
That is definitely one of the worst fights. Because the attack power here is actually fairly high. The dark waves are going to do something like 700 to 800 damage. It's not exactly a slow spot either. None of the spots on the moon are. So, can Kane survive 3 turns? With the adamant armors, possibly. Does look like there's enough speed going through, but with 2 cure 2s going here, this should be just fine. And just using a quick life potion and after the 3rd wave to get that poem up, so she makes use of the 100,000 experience that is coming their way.
And that was like, I think, a really heads-up way to play that fight as well. Just instantly saw it, reset out, drop the battle speed to make sure to be able to get that healing off, and then, yeah, as you mentioned, picking up that extra experience at the end for the Param as well is just kind of the icing on the cake there.
Oh, well, there's an item for Kane.
Rewarded with, a decent sword and an objective.
Yeah. So...
Well, 2 objectives, I guess.
Yep. The ribbon room was our required moon objective today. And getting that twin harp does say where you're going after the moon. I don't think you stop at this point, though.
I was going to say, I think that's the question here now is, afterwards you're going to go and do the twin harp, and that'll be your 4th objective done on Blazer's side. But I think the question is, how soon do you leave?
Well, you don't stop for Val. Val, yeah, she's got perfect magic defense here, but you've just got Kane with an Avenger. You can, and you have 3 blink casters. This fight is easily won. And this spot doesn't really have the same sort of physical defense that other spots on the moon has. So Kane sort of has a pretty much free reign to win.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the fact that adamants do block calcify the slow petrification, and and with Kane wearing one, he's got no reason to stop.
E-Ninja taking trap chests on the way up the tower as well, which I don't think we saw anyone else do, so... Everyone else has already made their way through the tower. It'd be really interesting to see if this pays out.
Yeah, I think a couple of trap chests did get sprung on the way up on the couple of, on other people's sides, but not really that many. It'll be interesting to see if there's anything that comes out of it.
Not really, then, is the answer on that one.
Yeah, Elven Bow is definitely not what you're looking for. So Zolde is on this Wyvern fight. Is going to have a fairly interesting time with it. Ikea is currently still going through the gauntlet for their adamant armor. So, Blaze went through Val, but nothing really found from that either, I don't believe.
Yeah, Stardust Rod is, usually pretty nice, but you already picked up that forge. I
guess it could go on Teller.
Teller's currently doing his main job in this party, I think.
Teller's done his main job, and well, Teller doesn't have a job in this in Blaze's party. He's still not got ordeals, so yeah, Teller is not really that effective.
Yeah, Teller's job right now is basically over. He just gets to rest on the floor for a while.
Mylon at Ogopogo spot. Counters with lit one, but because the magic here is so high, you're seeing 500, 600, 700s on those without the adamant armors. You look at that and you go, why is a level 1 spell doing so much damage?
And then just as terrifying when he decides to punch, if he can land the hits, because one of those spots with just absurd attack power.
Moon spots are made for doing things to you, and none of them usually good.
Oh, we are seeing a play up on Zali's side here as well.
Well, it's been known for the boss at Luca Cave to be required. Could Golbez be here?
It's like going into Luca just to check the boss and reset out is not like, it feels bad to do, but it's a lot faster than it seems, I think. And at the same time, it's the kind of thing that a lot of people will put off. So if this pays out, that could be a huge gain for Zali here.
Yeah. Speaking of paying out, Blaze found a money crystal. Earth crystal was found at the Ogopogo spot. As I like to say when I always fade it, when in doubt, Ogopogo spot.
And so I guess the question with that now then is, because that's another objective. Blaze is sitting here with 2 objectives waiting, already at 3. Do you actually fight the bosses at the Crystal Sword altar, the Murasame altar, or do you just... Not Golbez, we're out.
You still need the either Golbez or the Bound Key. You still need one of those possibilities. Yes, could be at the Twin Harp or the Earth Crystal, but do you risk it at this point? I don't think you do. I think you have to clear these to maybe just hope or just see if the Baron key is here. Yeah, we've got 2 progression key items, so the chances are very slim, but that doesn't mean it's not a possibility. Zalday is now out of checks on the Earth, so off to the Moon. Which, as we've seen, has all of the value today. Starting out with the adamant armor that was found in the hairdryer's chest, which definitely sped Blaze along. It's got the Twin Harp, it's got an Avenger, it's got the Earth Crystal. There's a lot up here. Ikea is now out of checks as well after getting that crystal sword, so we'll likely be heading up to the Moon very shortly as well.
And yeah, I think E-Ninja here heading down to do the Fey March bosses, and then the same again, so...
That's 3 progression key items.
Yeah, I was going to say 3rd item on the Moon. 2, I'm like, okay, sure, you keep going. 3 feels...
3 feels, yeah, you've got to just go. Oh. We'll see how much it pays out, because Zalday is going for the Murasame spot and has found the D-Lunas here. But Blaze is deciding, I've got 3 key items I need to chase. I'm gone. Bye, Moon. I may be back.
Blaze, very interestingly, didn't even look at what the fight was, so... We obviously now know from Zalday's side it's D-Luna's here, but in Blaze's mind that could be Golbez?
Could be, but I think he's playing the chance that I've got more... there's more chance of one of these checks being the Baron key than Golbez being in one particular spot.
Yeah. And not to mention, we've got 1 boss here, 2 bosses in Zot waiting. There's a chance that Golbez is just behind the Baron key. There are 2 more bosses we don't know about down there, so... Yeah, just a massive potential here that your solution in this seed is find the Baron key and don't even worry about Golbez.
Yeah. Ikea is going to the other check that we have. We know who it. No, we roughly know who it is, but we don't know what is behind it. Being Cave Bahamut, we know it's either Elements or Rubicante. We'll see what is the item back there. So once the fight has won. Otherwise, I think we should just keep talking and ignore what's happening in the bottom left of your screen, don't you think?
Yeah, nothing important, nothing relevant down there.
Yeah, it's not like
about how important this Dark Elf fight is, and it's a 4th objective, right? We've got to play up the fact that the objectives are really, really integral to everything. And
and it's not like it's a fan favorite or anything like that. That Edward doesn't get to be useful or things like that. He's just. Dark Elf interrupts this musical interlude to tell you that Moon has all the value today. That is three objectives up there. That's ridiculous.
And Zalde left on that Baron key, so we know everything but Golbez in our side at this point, but who's gonna get everything first? That's a really tough call to make.
Yeah, Blaze is now Blaze doesn't know it, but is now in a Golbez hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Because of coming back to the blue planet after getting in the twin harp of Crystal and Pan. Zalde is coming down here just to check things, but if he finds Golbez in this particular spot, that in one of these spots, he gets to only need to find the Ribbon Room, and he will have everything he needs, because the pass is at the end of that particular chain with the twin harp. This actually suddenly got very interesting on where is Golbez.
Yeah, for sure. And then, of course, you've got Akir now going down to what we know as a Baron key. And if he carries on going through the moon, then we know that would hit go mode. That finds everything you need. So just wildly different paths between everyone, but none of them quite pointing to an end game just yet.
No, it's very finely balanced, and this could all fall on Blaze's decision to leave the moon, because Ikea is going to find this Baron key. If Ikea leaves, I think it puts things back into a bit of parity. But if he stays around, yeah.
Gold in Baron.
This is advantage Zalde, because I don't think there's anything else that keeps Zalde on the moon, on the blue planet now. I think it's all on the moon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the most you can get at this point would be, I mean, we know that the Pan is on the moon at this point, so it would be the Hook and
we've got the rat tail, which Blaze has to go back to the moon, and has just picked up a Cecil who has not been to ordeals. So yeah, this is very finely balanced. I think Blaze has still got a little bit of an advantage over Ikea, because once he's got through this, we know he can't get too much, and will go back to the and needs to go back to the moon very, very shortly. It's only the Pan and that he's got to check, and that's not exactly a long check.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got one spot left, 2 spots left: Cave Bahamut and Murasame. But Ikea, yeah.
I think everything comes down to this moment on Ikea's side, and
yeah, he's exiting out, but that's a typical play when you're leaving this particular spot anyway. One of the things that we definitely do know, he is going back in. Yep. One of the things we definitely know from Blaze, though, is that he is going to have to do 7 out of 7 objectives.
Yeah.
So there was the hook at there was the hook at Talzot. So here comes the rat tail check, keeping him on the earth a little bit longer. There's the package. At this point, does Blaze check that for Golbez? Just to not go back to the moon? I think he might.
Well,
he might.
Yeah, on the one hand, like, you haven't checked. So I don't think Blaze looked at the boss in Cave Bahamut either. So I think there are 2 boss locations on the moon that you just haven't even looked at. And at the same time, you left the moon. You've been there and you left. Are you really just going back there now for that?
And the other question is, do you check Giant? Do you go and check the first fight in the Giant? Do you fight and finish the first fight in Giant just so you can check the second fight in Giant for Golbez?
Oh.
These are the questions that Blaze has in his mind right now, and every single one of them, unfortunately for him, is wrong. The only right answer is to go back up to the moon and fight that Muasame spot. And that's just one decision that he can make out of a lot.
Having lost a race to pretty much exactly this recently, I was like, this hurts to watch. And it's such an easy call to make at this point because you found 3 items on the moon. Like, those checks are less likely to have items. You're less likely to find something useful there. Yeah, there's a couple of bosses. You know, you saw a Rubicon sprite at the start of the game, so you know the first one isn't, but there's still the throne, there's still the basement. Like, you absolutely follow these items down, and then that's only 2 fights. How many are you missing at this point? Like, 9, 10? We haven't seen the first in the hook route. We haven't seen the package. There are 2 on the moon. Like,
there's the spoon Sheila too. So where does Blaze go now? Back to the moon? To the Giant? To the package? Ordeals?
Blaze hasn't gone toward. That's 3 more fights.
Yeah,
it makes perfect sense.
It's very quick to go through these 3 fights and check and reset out of them, and with the amount of power that he has, but it's keeping him away from the moon. Every check that he makes is keeping him further away from that Baron key.
And like, everything has lined up for this. It's a key item location check, so it's at this point far more likely to have that major item. It's 3 bosses when beating Golbez wins you, like, gets you the crystal. That's it. It gets your Cecil to become a paladin. You've got a crystal sword. You've got more than enough adamant armors. Everything points to Ordeals at this point.
Yeah.
We just know it's not the right answer.
And the other part of it is he's got the pass. He doesn't want to go back to the moon because if he finds it on the Earth, he's got an instant access item to Zeromus.
Mm-hmm.
Ikea has noped out of the Earth Crystal check, but I think he's just, at this point, he's face checking.
Yeah. And I think as well, like,
because he's
it will work out. We know that.
Those are instant resets. He's face checking. He is he's looking for gold bears. He knows he's got 2 key items that are going to lead to. He's got 2 objective key items. He knows he just needs 1 more. He's looking for gold bears. He's going to find gold bears with that Baron key. He's going to go and do that twin harp, which is going to give him that pass, and that pass is going to lead him straight to Zeromus.
And I think more notably in Aka's spot as well, you're missing 3 items that give 1 boss fight each. Odds are you have access to gold bears at this point.
Yeah. Blaze hasn't reset out, so we'll see where he chooses to go next. Zalday is on his way down the moon to that ribbon room, is going to find that twin harp and is going to reset out immediately for that last objective. He's going up and down from moon to a planet quite often, but he's in a very good position right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Blaze, what choice do you have next? Back to moon, giant, or package? Back to moon. This race is heating up very, very quickly.
Yeah, this is what keeps the race alive. The giant at this point, talking 5+ minutes if you choose to take the first fight to go through the second. So seeing that would have probably been the kind of final straw on it, but this keeps things alive.
Yeah. With the music happening and on Ike's side, Blaze's fight with the D-Lunas is going to happen, and this is going to be... They're going to enter Baron Castle pretty similar times. Yeah, this is a race to beat up gold bears and then see who wins the fight. Wins the damage race against Z.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, more Wiku. Blaze stopped off at Cape Bahama. I can understand why, but
And also, interestingly, Zalday went to the Massa altar before the ribbon room.
I can sort of understand why Dark Knight Cecil in that spot is a pain to deal with. Unfortunately for Zalday, it does mean that it's going to get the Earth Crystal, which is sort of defunct for him at this point, unless he wants to do that instead of music. So he's got a choice of which one does he feel is quicker.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay, so Ike is entering into Baron right now. Blaze is entering the fight with the D-Lunas to get the Baron key right now. In term, this fight, this bottom race is very thinly poised. Ike has the advantage of being in the lead at the moment because we know this is Golbez and liberate Baron Castle to finish the objectives and get the crystal. Blaze has a very big advantage on damage output at this particular moment with that crystal sword Cecil.
Yeah, Blaze's Zeramus fight is going to be, I wouldn't say necessarily friendly still at this point. You kind of wish you had a slightly better healer, maybe, but certainly a lot nicer at this point than Akers will be.
Yeah, and that could be the difference. We'll have to see. This is all going to come down to the Z fight. I can see that now. But we'll have to wait until that particular moment. Ninja is just about to take on the wonderful Dark Knight Cecil in the ribbon room and say, why are you here? Zalday's having a little bit of a tough time with the Mylon here, but it's strangely tricky fight, as we mentioned earlier. The little ones are actually fairly substantial, and this does have a lot of hit points. So Ike is on Golbez. Blaze is entering Baron Castle right now. Zalday has their Earth Crystal.
And E-Ninja did the same thing there that Zalday did. To take the death to the Dark Knight Cecil and is going to go off to do the Master Altar first, which I cannot fault it at all. Again, no. We know that it doesn't pay out, especially given that E-Ninja already has that Baron key.
Yeah. It's just unfortunate that two of the objectives are literally gated by the same aim spot. That this Earth Crystal doesn't, and this Mylon fight, much easier of the 3 fights that you have a key item behind, is the one that really just isn't needed of the three. Everyone,
like the ribbon room having Dark Knight Cecil on top is just like, most of the time the adamants will trivialize pretty much any fight you'll run into at this point, and this one just doesn't care how much defense you have. It will just do its damage regardless.
Golbez is down on Ike's side. Blaze is just about to enter that particular fight. Blaze is chugging along, is right on the heels. Blaze is going to look at this and go, of course you are here, after having done everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Zalday is through Dark Knight Cecil, has done the Ribbon Room. Now it's their choice of music or the Earth Crystal. Which do you think is quicker, Zalday? Because music is, because it's got the pass at the end of it.
Yeah.
Of course, you don't know that. We're just saying it out loud on a stream that you can't hear. So, there.
Like, you get the two bosses on Zart, and you get the cutscene on the music, and there aren't a lot of bosses even that would slow you down here, but yeah, has picked music.
Has picked music. Is going to go and get the pass, and is literally right there to head off to the moon. Head off. Yeah, well, you can. Yeah, you're going to the moon through the pass door. Don't even know why I thought I was saying something wrong there.
But yeah, we're hitting about the 1 hour 30 mark. Runners in go mode or very quickly approaching it. Give a huge shout out at this point to our two trackers, Plagle and NG Dave, carrying the restream behind the scenes. Talking of carrying a restream behind the scenes, our restreamer Aska, and of course, last but certainly not least, from our perspective, the 4 runners here. Make sure to give them a follow for putting on what has turned out to be an incredible race or 2 incredible races that are still coming down to the wire at this stage.
Yeah, IKEA is heading back to the moon. Reason for that? Not entirely certain, but might not be too enamored by their levels. Blaze, on the other hand, honestly, I don't think cares. Yeah, but no.
Sirens, do they?
No, sirens, if anywhere, are in the Cave of Balana shop, which only Blaze has access to.
Right.
Yeah. The Porum on Blaze's side only has Cure 3. Is 1 level off of Cure 4. Might play a part, but those Cure 3s are going to be pretty powerful because of the fact of the adamant armor and the silent staff. So if the potential nerfs come out, this could be still pretty academic because of Crystal Sword Cecil, Avenger Kane, and Palom just sitting there.
So Ike picked up a Sid and a Porum to gain some levels, turned on encounters, and is now making the run through the lunar subterranean.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Blaze is looking a fire in the face and is going to ask a question. That question may contain letters, it may contain question marks, it may contain anything. We're not going to ask the question because we're boring.
A boss might contain letters for all we know.
Yeah. But yeah, here's Romus. It's there. We throw crystal. It turns into something. Enjoy whatever it turns out to be.
What's in the box? It could be a box.
Could be ice cream. The answer
if
is
ice cream shows up now and
no. It's just a Mega Man boss. I think that's a Mega Man boss. looks like a Mega Man boss. It's a Kirby boss. Close enough. Ikea did find a very good fight in the gold and silver dragons. Is likely going to be heading this way very soon, but Blaze is literally on fire right now. Zalday's doing a little bit of a different option, and that's a trap chest in Sylph.
Yeah, this is something that we've not seen for a few weeks, really, at this point. Pretty rare on this flag set.
But there is a lot of experience here. With 10 key items, just these is 44,000 experience.
Mm-hmm. And one of the, highest rates of giving out yet another adamant.
If I see an adamant at the moment, I would be very, very meh about it. A crystal sword, even more meh about it. So, Ike's taking on some extra fights. Don't know if he just forgot to turn off encounters, which is entirely possible since the can't run flag is on. Or might have been a little bit shy of something that he wanted. No, that's definitely searching for encounters.
Yeah. I guess trying to give that second Porum a few extra levels just to have some extra healing thrown in.
Might be looking for new Compalum as well, just to finish it up. I don't think he's too far off. Meanwhile, Blaze is just saying, yeah, Dynamis. Am I really too bothered? I don't have a Cure 4 spell, but I'm still dealing 7,000 to 9,000 damage per round.
Yeah, it's like Hela doesn't get a lot of healing, like in terms of MP, but it was enough to keep people alive through the early phases, and that's it. He can sit there. His job is done. He can lie on the floor now if he really wants to.
I think we might see a big bang here, because we don't really have a whole lot of output. It looks like Blaze is expecting one because of the virus there to possibly nerf the next big bang.
Yeah, it was probably the single worst target for Nuke at that point. I guess maybe the Porum is worse, but yeah, one of the big sources of damage just fell.
Not really. What you're looking at here is just keeping Kane and Cecil alive.
Yeah.
Here comes the meteors. So, yeah. Cecil dodging means we've got two definite swings from him, which will finish this fight. So Blaze is done. So 7 out of 7 and objectives for Blaze. Still gets the victory. Congratulations to him on winning today with a time of 1 hour 37 minutes and 25 seconds. And we have just been joined by the Roaring Fire himself. Did you like doing everything?
Not really. I would have preferred to not do everything, but that's just how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, once we saw the Baron Key appear on the moon after everything that you found on there, it was like, what is this moon?
Yeah, I mean, the moon doesn't usually do that to you. So I felt pretty good leaving when I did, especially when I got the pan at the crystal sword. And oh man, that was very scary. Like after clearing the Twin Harp and Zot and still looking for something and realizing I could have just left it up there like 15 minutes earlier.
As you said, it's not often that a moon does that much to you. Our thinking was, how long until you go back? Every single check that you make, and you made a lot of checks, it's like it's keeping you on this earth. Are you going to check the package? Are you for the gold bears? Are you going to go to the giant to check gold bears because you've got that pass?
Yeah, I mean, the way I typically will approach a situation like that, where it's a boss objective and a key item objective, is I just want to keep clearing key item objectives. Now, that being said, I would have felt pretty silly if I'd done all that and then Golbez was at Cave Bahamut or something like that I could have really easily face checked before I came back down. But at that point, with only needing either to find Golbez or to find the Baron Key, and having just like so many possibilities after the clearing the bottom of the moon, it felt right. But oh man, you really start doubting yourself when things are cutting it close like that. But all's well that ends well, I guess. So, you know.
So, Yoshi, any questions for?
I think you hit most of it. I guess the only other thing I was going to comment on was that's kind of similar vein to that, is putting off ordeals for as long as you did there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely was. I was very influenced by a lot of the stuff that I found early. Speaking of face checking, I was really happy with finding the Demist at Dwarf Castle. So I knew that was a spot I wanted to get back to as soon as possible. I knew that was the Fabul Gauntlet in the Feymarch, so I wanted to get back to there as soon as possible. And then by the time I did those two checks, I had 2 adamant armors, because I got very, very lucky and found that adamant armor on the hairdryer chest on the moon earlier on. So at that point, you kind of just want to keep clearing objectives. So I wanted to get up to the moon and do the ribbon room and just kind of not do anything extra at that point. I did have a crystal sword, so that was pretty tempting, but it wasn't something I felt like I had to do. And I felt like where I routed it in after I got Cecil and Zot was still pretty good. I could have rushed back up to the moon right away, but I felt like if the Baron Key or Golbez was hidden really, really well, I wanted that Crystal Sword Cecil to be able to actually function. And sure enough, that was the way the experience fell. And I just felt like I kind of had to go to Zeromus. He ended up being my main damage dealer. So it actually worked out pretty well, I think.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. I had a feeling that you might have been avoiding it to stop yourself from thinking about the potential grind play on the giant because of that Teller and Early Darkness crystal. Or did that influence that still a little bit?
Not really. Because I don't think I wanted to do a D machine grind in this seed. It didn't seem like a particularly great play with even when I found that adamant armor, and even when I did the hairdryer chest, I had a lot of kind of ways to sort of incrementally get XP. I knew, again, the Mist Dragon, and I knew where the Fabul Gauntlet was, so that was going to get me a lot of XP. I also had there were hourglasses in the starter kit, so I was actually thinking I would probably go and do Eblan after I did the hairdryer's chest, if that didn't turn into an adamant armor, but since that took care of that, I kind of just like kept doing key item checks. But I was actually pretty comfortable with that, plus the one siren that I did find, not wanting to do a D machine grind and instead just kind of powering through.
Oh, definitely worked out for you today. Hey,
Yeah.
so how it's week 7. How's your team feeling about your tournament so far?
So this was our deciding match. It was 1-1 after our first two teammates played. So this was the decider. So we did win this week. I believe we are now 2-5. So I don't think we are going to be in the running for any playoff contention. But I have loved this format so much, and it's really, I really feel like it's giving players a chance to really shine and compete on an even playing field with all of their teammates, and every match matters. And people are still playing for pride at this point, and that's fun too. And we got some really nice flag sets to play as well. I love this flag set a lot, and I really enjoyed the Potion Party flag set earlier. So even though we're 2-5, even though we're out of playoff contention, I have no complaints. I have loved playing in this format the entire way through, and it's exactly what I was kind of hoping it would be coming in. It feels very casual, very fun. Getting to root for your friends and getting to play with the people on your team, and just being able to kind of celebrate your friends who are doing well within their sphere. I know a particular friend of mine, Celeste, to play this week, but he's a D player that is 4-0, and I am so happy for him. You have no idea. I hope that it is something that he's taking a lot of pride in and enjoying as well. So just all of that kind of stuff. I love this format. It's been so fun.
Good to hear.
You can't tell. I could gush about it forever.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on your win. We'll let you run away and celebrate with your team, and look forward to seeing how you do in the last week with whoever you go up against.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. And thank you for doing the restream tonight, everybody that was involved in that as well.
So, yep, that was Blaze and our winner today. Meanwhile, our Zolde and Ikea are literally a dueling in Dynamis right at this moment. E-Ninja a little bit further behind, but has picked up their a Cecil and is on the way to likely pick up their last adamant armor, I would guess, before heading that way as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I might also be considering checking that shop down there. Still missing a few of those items. The Bacchus wines could help here. I know E-Ninja has a soft spot for the Bacchus wine in this.
Yeah, Simons and Bacchus wines both in that particular spot feel, especially since it's so out of the way in this particular seed, you don't get the hook until very, very late. It feels bad, but if you feel you need them, you still go and get them.
Yeah, E-Ninja also not doing Magnus earlier, checking to see if this is the pass as well, just to save that little bit of time.
So we'll have to walk the moon, so very, very worth it to go and check to see if there's a maybe 2 sirens just to get that Cecil going. And we saw how difficult a time Ikea had trying to get those levels from just turning on encounters. Only really had one very good fight for it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there he goes. So Zolde seems to be having some trouble here. Meanwhile, now Ike is not exactly in the greatest spot, but does have a lot of hit points still available on that Palom, Kane, and Paul, and is looking to finish this off with Flex Strats. Wow, has actually run out of MP on Palom of all people.
think that might be the first time I've seen that happen. in a
It's
Zero
not
Mist fight at the
often.
very least. Yeah.
Yeah, Paladin has a lot of MP. It's not the highest because I believe Porum and Rydia have the 2 highest amounts, but it's still a very high number. I know Nuke costs 50 per, but you still have at least, I think it's something like 8 to 10 with the levels that he's got. So, here comes another big bang on Zalday's side, and everyone except Kane is down.
Oh. Ninja picking up those extra levels as well, so if Zalday does take a loss here, like
Yeah,
reset out of the Zero Mist, like this is potentially enough to just pull it all back, but Ike's Dynamis does drop, so
the reflex strategy did work, and IKEA has come in second with an hour 49.20, and we are now joined by IKEA. Great run. Levels at the end were hard to come by, it seems.
Oh yeah, they sure were. I kept looking for that hook because the Cybers were probably in the Eblan Cave, and look, this was not coming.
Yeah, and they were indeed in that Cave of Lana, and so you've just picked up the Baron key from the Murasame spot. You exited out. How tempted were you to go back and do that?
I was not tempted to go back and do it yet because I had found nothing on Earth. So either the Baron key led to something that led to a big chain, or there were more things on the moon. And I knew we had a moon objective. We had to do the ribbon room. So I knew I was going to go down, go to the ribbon room, see what I get from there. I think I was looking for at least one more key item to unlock something, either an objective or another location that would give me another chain. Because I want to go back with 2 chains, not just one.
Yeah. And you found pretty much everything you needed, and then you got back. You did, and you chose. You had the choice of Crystal, Tower Zot, and music.
I didn't actually find the Earth Crystal. I got the Twin Harp out of.
Yeah,
out of
I'm
there
looking at wrong trackers. Yeah, so yeah, you got back. You got the Twin Harp. You went and did that, and you got the pass. So that sort of gave you an out there, but yeah, it all really boils down to your comfort with that team and their levels, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I needed to grind because their levels were low. That's a low hit point team. That's why I took the Sid, even though I didn't really have anything good for him, because he could be a chemist. That was his role during it, and taking a Star Veil so he could bounce off it, while everybody else just bounce spells. And that was the plan going in, is to get enough levels to get Nuke, to get a Whites, and to have enough HP to survive a Big Bang. They were pretty geared out. I think they had the magic evade to dodge it enough, and they did, so that was good. But yeah, I really wish I had a different party. That's one of the reasons I did like all of the underground. It's like, where are the party items? They just weren't coming, and I found out they're all behind the Earth Crystal, which was a Massimoon altar, which I didn't do.
Yeah. Yoshi?
no, yeah, I think everything's pretty much covered there. I was going to say, yeah, I think you were the only runner out of the 4 today who got through that Dark Knight Cecil first try, so skipped out on that Matter Altar, and it just kind of funneled you into this party, which
Yeah, that
For better or
was
worse.
it was a good fight. I know jump doesn't trigger the restart, so it's like if King can just get a jump off and a wave go by while he's there, I win the fight, and I can get somebody up. So I was happy to get through that. That's a tough one to just walk into unprepared.
Yeah, no, everyone sort of bounced back. Blaze just did an instant reset before going in battle speed 6. You just went in there and just said hi, bye, and left it, let it go. So
Yeah, one success this seed, I'll take that.
yeah, you did bring back a lot of time because of staying on the moon and finding that Baron key, while Blaze sort of did the bottom of the moon first and skipped out because he had found Earth Crystal or Twin Harp and the pan up on the moon as well. So that moon was literally everything you could want and could also not want.
I really regret because I thought about it once I got darkness. It's like I have a Tella, do I D-Machine grind? And I didn't like my party for it. Like I wanted somebody to slingshot, and I just couldn't find anyone to slingshot. I kept the Tella over the second Poron because I wanted somebody to warp through Dwarf Castle. And then I just didn't go back and get her after Dwarf Castle was done, which was probably a mistake. Having her slingshot a little bit earlier would have helped a bit. But if you do D-Machine and then just sweep the moon, you could make the seed really fast because everything was up there, like all of our objectives. Yeah, I didn't really realize the Baron key was required, so you did have to go back up and do that. You skipped out on it. Because I feel like you're doing top down. I prefer doing top down than bottom up. With that many key items that we're looking for.
Wow. Unfortunately, not got the win in your particular race today. Week 7, though, how was your team feeling?
This is week 7, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
We're kind of bummed to be 2 and 5. We started out strong, just haven't been able to follow up on it. But yeah, the team's good, and we're having fun, and that's the important part. Playing some tough opponents. Maybe Blaze Wolf is a great player, so I'm only losing by 10 minutes. I'll take that. Yeah, we're just looking forward to next week and finishing it off. See who we play. It'll be fun.
Okay. Excellent. So we'll let you go, and good luck for next week, whoever you play.
Just want to say thank you, Boydrak and Yoshi, for the commentating, and Asuka for the seed, and Darth Plagal and NG Dave for tracking. Appreciate all the hard work you guys do. Have a good night.
The winner of the other race, Zolday, who finished just after Ikea, with a time of 1 hour, 50 minutes and 14 seconds, I believe has just joined. Congratulations on your win.
Oh, thank you. I'm 10 minutes later and I'm still shaking from that Z fight. It was so janky. It was a palom and a prayer.
Yeah, came down to the wire a few times. That Kane just narrowly hanging on a couple of times.
Oh, Kane was MVP. I thought he was just going to be a side character. I was thinking, okay, 2 Porums, a Palom, easy, mages. And then I got to the end and it's like, grinding. Yep, I should have done the D-Machine grind way back when I wanted to do it. So it just became a beefy Kane to protect the kiddos.
Sometimes that's all you need. A kill-free Kane. You don't think of Kane as a chemist too much, but when he needs to be, he can work it.
Oh, and I completely lucked out that Toria had Cure 3s because I didn't know where they were. And I also got completely lucked out because after having visited the moon 3 times, I didn't want to go up again. And I did the 50-50 shot of Zot versus Moon, Zot versus Harp, chose Harp, and was rewarded with the pass. But then that led to panic because it's like, oh crap, I need to grind. I have no grind. 5 levels to nuke. Oh, Sylph Cave. Okay, let's do Sylph Cave.
We saw that. We was like, well, it is a source of experience. It's fun because yes, the the Twin Harp did lead to the pass and the easier way to Zeromus, but the Earth Crystal led to the hook, which led to the Sirens in Cave Eblana. So both ways sort of led you into helping out.
And let me guess, Cecil was somewhere along that path, because of course he would be, as I'm hoarding like 3 crystal swords or something.
Sitting up there happily in Tarazot.
Mm-hmm. Of course he was.
You got the win today, for your team. How does that feel? How is your team feeling in week 7? That's the question I ask everyone.
I honestly don't know. I think we're mostly just playing to have fun. We're supporting each other. Loof is like the moral person to keep all of our spirits up. I love Loof. They're just so awesome at checking in on us and cheering us on. Bardic Panda has been a great addition, last-minute addition to our team. Starman has been great. I love watching Starman's races because he usually has a playlist going on. And my God, does he have banger music playing? I just love that. So I think overall our team is in good spirits. Like, we're just playing to have fun, and I think we've been doing pretty well. I haven't been following the standings too much.
Well, neither have I, and
Pretty good. Still in the running.
yeah, you're still somewhere on that leaderboard somewhere.
In the top 13 are 4-2 or better, and still in that range.
Hey, not bad. I'll take it.
I believe your race was today was the first of your particular team, so we'll wish you the best of luck for your team to get another win and continue your run at the top. Can't really say much more than that because I'm on a completely different team.
I have complete confidence in Starman. I have complete confidence in Loof. They'll do great. And then next week is my off week, so I get to sit back and relax and let them carry me to the top.
Enjoy your week off.
I will, and I'll keep it short because I'm pretty sure you might have one more, and you've been doing a lot of interviews. So thank you so much for commentating. Thank you, Poydrak. Thank you, Oshikian. Asuka, thank you for the lovely seed. I'm sorry for ditching Edward, but he just couldn't do it this time. And I didn't catch who the tracker was. I'm sorry, but whoever was tracking, you did awesome job. I know the pain, I know the stress, and awesome job.
Interviews are definitely a thing, so thank you very much.
GG's again.
Thank you, and everyone have a good night, morning, or whatever time.
So our final runner, E-Ninja, didn't quite get there. You were right at the end when that finish for Zolde came in, and you. I think the best thing about that for you was your cane wasn't as underpowered in the early game as others because you found that Dragoon Spear in Castle Weblin.
Yeah.
How did you feel at that point, having actually found that thing?
Well, honestly, I was waiting to get underground and I was hoping to find sirens, but sirens won't be found. Finally did find sirens, but a little too late.
And they are very. They're a nice thing to have, and when you just don't see them, and you've still got a lot to go, especially a Z fight, you sort of have a little bit of. There's a bit of trepidation about what can actually happen in there. Zalday's fight was very touch and go because of the team and the levels, so there was definitely a chance for you to get back in it.
I see Zald did not pick up the Cecil from the Earth Crystal, which I had.
Yeah, when with the alternate, because they had the twin harp up, and that did lead to the pass instead of the hook that you picked up through the Earth Crystal. Oh, so
pass in the Earth Crystal, huh?
Yeah, it was pass at Twin Harp or hook at Earth Crystal. Both led to good ways to finish the seed up, either through just getting there quicker or those sirens.
Yeah, because the hook route had sirens and Bacchuses, and then the other had the pass.
Yeah,
pretty much it was that way. Sorry, I'm not really that talkative tonight. I'm having a lot of issues family-wise.
Not too bad. We're just grateful that you've shown your stuff today, that you've raced for us, and thank you for that. Unlucky for the day, but maybe we'll be seeing you again later down the line.
Well, I guess we still race next week, don't we?
There is another race. It's next week, so if you still got a race needed under your belt, we may very well see you at least a lot, either on the stream or through our Khadgar links.
I was about to say I was off week 5, so yeah, I'm up for week 8, so I'm ready for it.
Yeah, well, enjoy yourself. We'll let you go. Have a good evening.
I also want to thank you, Poidrak, Yoshikayan, and Jide for pushing the buttons, Dark Plague, and Oscar for everything behind the scenes.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Yeah, that was a couple of races. I don't think we should let them get off easy. I think we should send them over to another couple on our sister stream, Free Enterprise 2, who has another twin cast of Elven Sorrow versus Y2 Sky and Erinai versus Sky. No spoilies, because newspapers do go flying. They're sharp. They hit hard. You know, normal newspaper things. We do also have races tomorrow, which are things that happen, and we have Cubs versus Commander Leonhardt, which is going to happen on Free Enterprise 2, and a couple more and a twin cast on Free Enterprise 1, as well as Zeke versus Peasants. And they're at various times of the day. Enjoy them all. Feel free to watch them. Have a good evening, everyone.
Take care, everyone.